Muriel, Ruby, let's go. Let's go.
Come on, let's have a candid conversation. Let's talk about it. Just bring it up, we got hope and love.
Yeah.
It's all about you and your well-being. A candid conversation show. Let's go, let's talk about
Hey,
it.
let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's walk. Walk it out. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's walk. Walk it out.
It's all about you.
Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's walk. Walk it out. Let's talk. Let's talk.
As we approach season 7, yes, 7, we will be sharing some of our previous shows, highlighting some amazing and inspirational women. We are taking a minute to reflect on Women's History Month, honoring the women that teach, inspire, make history, and push us to greatness. Our guest this evening is Secely Wilson. She is a former journalist at WKMG TV with more than 20 years delivering hard-hitting, inspiring, and entertaining reports in news, lifestyle, art, and entertainment. We will be discussing health and wellness, and also we're going to touch on domestic violence.
Secely, we want to thank you for being here today.
I'm excited about it. Listen, I was digging the music. I was like, okay, your intro song was pretty hype. I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. This is amazing. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
that. Candid conversations.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do today.
That's what we're going to do today.
Alrighty, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Yes. You have such a vibrant personality, and you're so full of
knows
life.
it.
And we definitely want to get to know you a little more. So if you can tell us a little bit about where you're from, a little bit about your upbringing.
Yeah, well, you know what? My personality is actually natural, literally, because I grew up as an Air Force brat.
Oh.
My family, my stepfather was in the military at the Air Force,
Okay.
and so we moved around quite
A
often,
bit.
right? We moved around
Yeah.
all the time. So 2 to 3 years, I was going to another place. So if I did not make friends,
Right.
I'd be a loner.
Yes.
Really?
Right. So
That's
I'm like, no. So I can talk to that wall back there.
Make friends with
And
the
make
wall.
friends with
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, so that literally, I love the fact that I had that opportunity because it opened my eyes to the world that's around me and what's available to me.
Absolutely.
And so it gave me the opportunity just to make friends and to talk to other people that didn't look like me. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I remember living in Louisiana. We were stationed at England Air Force Base in Louisiana, Alexandria, Louisiana. And on the Air Force Base, we lived in housing area. And we had neighbors. So our family lived in the middle,
Okay.
and there was a family on the other side was from Puerto Rico. They were Puerto Rican.
Okay.
And then the other family was from Vietnam. She was Vietnamese. And so the mommies would always get together and cook their natural food,
Right.
right? So mom would cook a soul food dish.
Right.
I remember her name was Noni. I don't remember the Puerto Rican lady next door. But Noni was Vietnamese, and she would make Vietnamese food, and then they would switch, and the Puerto Rican dish would switch.
Okay.
And so we all had to try it. And my mom was like, no, try it, because you won't know if you like it if you
Right.
don't try it, right?
Looks
have
can
to.
be deceiving.
It can be. And so my palate was open, my mind is open, and the world around me is open because of my experience growing up as an Air Force brat. But Michigan is home for me.
Yes.
Saginaw, Michigan
All
is
right,
where
I
I
live
was
there.
born. And where?
We're military as well.
Shut
Retired.
the front door. Shut the front door. Yes, what branch?
Army.
Okay, yeah. So so we lived in was it Lake and Heath? No. I can't remember the name of the base in Louisiana. Excuse me, in Michigan. But we lived in Michigan. I was born in Saginaw, Michigan. And and so we just traveled all around the world, and we got back, and I ended up in Valdosta, Georgia. How do you know about Valdosta? How do you know about Valdosta? What? Yes. Valdosta, Georgia. That's where I went to school, high school at Valdosta High School, then graduated from Valdosta State. Went off to the University of Georgia initially.
Okay.
Actually, let me just take that back, because
Okay.
my girlfriends will say, no, you didn't, girl.
Straighten
So
it out.
I started out at Clark Atlanta.
Okay.
So started out at HBCU. Love Clark Atlanta.
Yes.
That
better
was
say you straighten it out.
amazing. Yep. And so then the reason why I left Clark Atlanta was because my boyfriend, who I was dating at the time, broke up with me and was dating a girl that went to Spelman. And my dorm,
I know.
I know,
The
right?
trip.
Stupid stuff. Stupid stuff. So the girl went to Spelman, and my dorm always faced the Spelman Gates.
Okay.
And so my room was right there. So every time I would see his car parked along the street, I knew he wasn't coming to see me. He was going over to Spelman, right? And I'm like, I can't handle this. I need to leave. And so I left school, went to the University of Georgia, and then I met my ex-husband, who was my boyfriend at the time.
Right.
He was attending school in Tennessee.
Okay.
So these are stupid things. I'm telling you, I'm like giving you raw, candid
We love it.
information. I'm giving you candid information right now, right? So my boyfriend at the time, he was attending school in Tennessee, and so I says, well, you know what? I want to be closer to him.
Yes.
So I left school. My mom was livid.
Of
right?
course.
She left school, went to Austin P to attend where he was.
Yes.
Austin P, Tennessee, right in Tennessee, and then he graduated, and I'm like, well, I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
So I went back to the University of Georgia.
Oh, you went back?
Right, I went back to Georgia, and so then I got pregnant
Okay.
with our first daughter.
Yeah.
So Chrissy was born, and Mommy said, you are bringing your behind home.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, I sent you there to study journalism, not sex education.
Yes.
She's right, though. She was
So
right.
I had to come home. Hence, I finished at Valdosta State. But the moral to that story,
Get your education.
get the education, right? I didn't let anything stop me.
That's right.
They thought I was down and out for the count because I was pregnant and I
Right.
was like in college.
No.
I had a goal that I was going to go to school
Good for
and
you.
get on TV. That was my goal. I was going to be the first black talk show host. And some chick
Wow.
named, what's her, Oprah?
Oprah.
Oprah.
Yeah.
I think that's her name.
Is that this her name? Someone like
think
that.
so.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Came along and like,
took over.
yeah, but she's nobody now.
Yeah,
now.
nah.
You're not watching this.
I know, right? I love you, Oprah. I love you, Oprah. So yeah, so I just kind of grew up as an Air Force brat. Then I started my TV career in Macon, Georgia.
Yes.
Then moved over to Tampa, at the Fox station in Tampa.
Okay.
Then came here to CBS at Local 6 at WKMG, and I've
we've
been here,
loved you.
and I've been here ever since.
We've loved
This
you
is
ever
the
since.
longest place I've ever lived in my entire life.
This is home.
Oh, I guess it is.
This is home.
Yes.
I'm home.
You're a Floridian.
I am. I
I don't know
yes.
if you want to admit that. but
No,
you're a
I am.
Floridian.
I can really say that because when I go home to Michigan, my blood is so thin right now.
Yes.
I'm like, it's 60
cold.
degrees. I'm freezing.
always cold.
It's so cold. So yes, I am a Floridian. Yes, and I love it. I love being here. Absolutely.
Awesome.
So yeah.
We love watching you for over 20 years. We have personally watched you, and we have enjoyed you.
Yes. We're so proud of you.
Yeah, yeah. It's when I say that is all I've ever wanted to do is TV. I feel so grateful that the Lord has blessed me with the opportunity to do and use the gift that He's given me.
Yes.
Because I can't sing, although I think I can.
Yes.
Right? I think I can, but I can't sing, but I talk really, really well. And so I remember my teachers would always send notes home to my mom. We had to move Cecily's seat.
She talks so much.
She's
She
talking
talks
too
too
much.
much.
Yes.
Come on, put her in the back of the class. Put her in the back.
I'm like, okay, hey,
Yes.
Mr. Wall, let's have a conversation.
Well, you were definitely made for TV. You know that, right?
Yes.
It's you.
It is me. I love it. This is all I've, like I said, this is
what
all
you
I've
know.
ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
But then God said I was going to do something else.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're
Yeah.
going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yes. Let's talk
We're
about
gonna
it.
talk about that with this being a journalist, and now all of a sudden, tell us what you're doing.
Yeah.
Tell
Well,
us some-
I am now
Yes.
a philanthropist.
Okay.
I love that, right?
Yes.
I'm an unexpected philanthropist, actually. So I had a stroke on air 2004.
Unbelievable.
At Local 6. It was the morning news. I was delivering the morning news, and it was 5 a.m. in the morning, and they cued me. Lights, camera, and
Nothing came out.
nothing came out. And we're sitting on the desk, just like we're sitting right here, and I'm like, couldn't understand what was happening. Ironically, this is how things set up. Ironically, a few months earlier, a part of my role as an anchor was to do a story on the early warning signs of a stroke. So it was Heart Month. It was Heart Month
Yes.
in February,
February.
and that each anchor had a story to do around Heart Month.
Okay.
That happened to be my particular story.
Okay.
So I interviewed a woman. Her name is Valerie Green. She's a stroke survivor. I did the story, did the warning signs, filed it away, like
Yes.
we normally do. We do a story,
Right.
go on to the next
Right.
one. That's it. Didn't think anything of it, right? It wasn't until months later I was passing out, recurring headaches, kind of blurred vision, and the speech was like, and I just kept dismissing it. I kept dismissing it because I was going through a divorce at the time, right?
So stress.
So I'm thinking
Yes.
it's just stress,
Right.
right, Muriel?
Right.
I'm thinking it's just stress,
Right.
right? I'm popping Advil like daily
Right.
candy, right? But it wasn't. But until the Lord said, listen, I'm trying to get your attention.
Right.
And he took my voice for just a moment, right? So that I
got
could-
your attention.
Got my
Yes,
attention.
yes.
And that's what happened. And so from that moment, my marriage fell apart, ended in divorce.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's a good thing. It's okay because
Sometimes
it led
it
me
is.
to where I am
There
right
you
now.
go, yes.
But sometimes that's a great thing.
It
I mean,
is.
he was
I
a wonderful
understand.
man, but at this point, I'm glad that it's brought me to this point.
Right.
So it's part of my journey.
Yes.
And the marriage fell apart. My job hit a layoff.
Mm.
I lost my home because I couldn't hold the
course.
home by
Right,
myself
right.
on one income and no income at that point. So it was like all these things happened spiraling out of control,
All at
right?
once, seems
At no
like.
fault of my own.
Right.
Oftentimes, you know how we talk about, oh, it's my fault. No, I didn't do anything.
No.
Yeah, no. You didn't
How
do a
can
thing.
how can this happen to me? I'm sure you guys have been through
Oh,
that,
yes.
right?
Yes, definitely.
You're right. And so it's that moment where I'm talking to a girlfriend on the phone and I'm crying about all of the stuff that I have, the
Yeah.
shoes and the clothes, and now I don't have my big house and I don't know what to do with this. And she's like, shut
Stop
up.
this. Stop the madness.
Stop it. Shut up.
Yes.
And quit your whining.
You've got your
Because
help.
all of that stuff that you have, that extra stuff
Extra
that you're
stuff.
talking about, I want you to go and find a group of women in transition and give them all of the things you're talking about. Now, of course, Cecily was like,
I want my stuff.
Yeah.
these shoes?
I know, right?
These shoes-
These
What?
shoes cost such and such.
These Jimmy Choos.
And that's what I said. What? And she said, yes, give it to them and then watch God fill your hand more than you can have imagined, right? And I took that challenge. And here we are, 8 years later, we've created WOW Legacy Group. WOW is an acronym for Women Overcoming with Willpower.
There you go.
Beautiful.
And it's an opportunity for us to touch other lives, other women
Right.
who are going through some sort of life adversity, be that job loss, divorce, domestic violence, whatever that looks like.
You're here to help.
We're here to help. And we take them through a 6-month empowerment program focusing on everything from health and wellness, mental health,
Yes.
finances,
Yes.
Okay.
education, personal development, professional development, and
Okay.
it all culminates with our annual fundraiser,
Okay.
Fall into Fabulous.
Fabulous.
And that's what that is. And this is our way to highlight the 6 months of work.
Right, you're
that they
strengthening
put-
them.
Yes. And so now you walk out on that catwalk showing who you really are.
Hold your head up.
Hold your head up high.
Yes.
Because you not only, life fell apart, but now you're falling into fabulous.
You're
And
ready.
fabulous
Beautiful.
is less of this, guys.
Yes.
We know that.
Of course.
Fabulous is coming from
From
inside.
inside.
And that one step, because oftentimes we think we can't do it and we're afraid. But when we take that first step,
Yeah.
another
got
one.
it.
Uh-huh.
I got this. I got it.
What?
Yeah,
It's
got
like
it.
that little train.
Yeah.
I think I can.
I think I can.
Right?
Right.
And
That's
so
right.
that's really what it is. And so we celebrate the first step that they're making and help them continue on. And so
That's magnificent.
you know what? It's amazing. And every time we go through this session with the women, this is our 8th year coming up. Our 8th year.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you
It
for all of
is.
that
It is.
hard
Thank
work.
you. It
It's
is.
not easy.
Girl.
It's not easy.
No, it is not easy at all, but it is certainly a blessing, and I get so blessed when I'm giving to others, and I'm a giver by
Me too.
nature.
Yeah.
And so it gives me an honor to be able to play a small role in another woman's journey of
Absolutely.
success.
Yes.
I don't do the hard work. They do the hard work.
Right.
I'm just sharing my story because oftentimes they think that, and I think we were talking about this earlier, people see us on the outside and think we have it all together.
They don't
Everything-
know your story.
You don't know the story.
No.
And so being transparent allows others
They let
to
you
see
in.
that, to see themselves in you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you guys all have those backstories, both
Absolutely.
of you, right?
That's
So
right.
tell me a little
We
bit about
all
your
do.
backstory.
She's asking us questions.
You just came and took over the conversation. So, okay, now.
I'm sorry. Right,
now.
Take the hat off.
I know, right? Not my show, not my show. Go ahead, ladies.
But listen, she passed
I
what
flipped it.
I know she-
I'm sorry. I did. I flipped it. It's
That's her
natural.
job.
It's
This is
natural.
Tell us, what was that like when you were on set? What exactly did you feel
was going
when
through
you were having the stroke on air?
I didn't know I was having a stroke. I literally did not know. I'm like,
What's going on?
what's going on? I mean, I could literally hear what I was saying on my cue card, right? I was literally, I could hear it in my head, but it wasn't coming out. And at that moment, it was like the Holy Spirit said, I just went back to my newsroom and I just got off the set and I pulled up the story. For some reason, I was led to pull up that story.
Right.
I pulled up the story and I'm looking at the warning signs.
And that's all of them.
And I'm like, oh, check.
Yes.
Check.
Oh my gosh.
I think I'm having a stroke. And yes, exactly was. It was a TIA,
Yes.
transient ischemic attack, right?
How old were you at that time?
I was 39 years old.
Okay, you were
39
young.
years old. Yes, and so there's a misnomer there that strokes happen to
Older
old
people.
people.
No.
And that's not
No.
the case.
No,
Right.
they do not. They do not. African American women and Latino women are the #1 targets of heart disease. They're killing us at a high
Yes.
rate.
Right.
A high rate. So I literally love working with the American Heart Association
Yes.
because oftentimes, and I literally had to tell them, like, listen, all your marketing materials, I'm seeing white women.
Exactly.
But
That's
if
not the case.
we
You
are
better
the
mix this.
#1 targets,
Right.
You gotta put us
we
on
need to
there.
fix that.
Yes.
We need to share that.
Good for
and
you.
I can share that story. And so it's important for me to share that message because as black women, and you both know this very well, that we hold so much in.
A lot.
We carry so much over
Yes.
our shoulders,
So
and we
much.
think we can do everything.
Everything. Superwoman.
Big S
Yes.
Yes.
on the chest. And we've got the cape
Yes.
to prove it, right? And we're thinking that we can do everything, but we can't. And we have to learn how to say, what's that word?
No.
No.
Say it again?
No.
No.
Yes. Listen, I can say it in 6 languages. French?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Spanish? No.
Okay.
Sign? No. Ebonics? Hell no. No. Say it.
I love it. No.
So,
I love it.
So when you learn how to say no, you're protecting yourself and not
Absolutely.
rejecting the other person.
That's right.
Yes,
So,
beautiful.
We got to save our lives.
We have
ladies.
to.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that.
Sorry.
That's in 6 different languages.
Yes, right. That was only 3. I'll give
She's
you
too
another
much.
later.
So tell me, what have you done to change your life? What have you changed in your life since this stroke?
Yes. Well, you know what?
Saying no, we know is number 1.
Yeah, saying no is
Yes.
number 1.
Yes.
That's still very hard for me sometimes
I
because
know.
I'm an overachiever.
Yes.
So it's still kind of hard, but I'm a lot more conscious. And when I really feel like I'm overwhelmed, I do say, I
Yes.
can't do it.
Yes.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. And I don't offer any type of excuse to it. I'm just like,
Just say no.
I can't. I'm
Right.
sorry. But in addition to that, I was never a poor eater.
Okay.
So I didn't fit any of
Criteria.
the criteria of a stroke survivor or whatever. So, but I am watching the way that I eat. I do work out when I can.
Very good.
And I drink a lot
Of water.
of water.
Very good. Flush it out. Flush it out.
Yes. And just learning how to just let the small stuff go.
Yeah, let it go.
Oh,
Let it go
my
and let God.
It's not worth it.
Oh my goodness, it's so important. And you would think that that's easy to do,
It's not.
but for us sometimes it isn't. But yes, we've got to let the small stuff go. So
have
so those are some of the things that I've been able to do. So people often say, I would never have known that you've had a stroke. Only by the grace of God. This is the second. I've had 2. The first one at 39, the second one at 49. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait a second. 59.
59 home.
Girl, no, we
What?
find that in the name of Jesus.
That's right.
Right? So
You know we're close to that anyways, you know.
I am a little close to it.
Well, you look
Black don't
marvelous.
crack.
It don't
You look
crack.
Right? Thank you very much. But that's good living. That's what that really is. That's good living. When you're taking care of yourself,
Absolutely.
it reflects on the outside.
Absolutely.
So taking care of myself is important to me because I really want to live a long and
Yes.
prosperous life and enjoy my new
Your
granddaughter.
grandbaby.
Yes. Oh my
She's
goodness.
beautiful.
Amari Elizabeth is
She's
my
gorgeous.
heart. Yeah, thank you. If I say so myself.
And
Yes.
how old is she?
She is 1 year old.
Already?
She is 1
was
year.
quick.
I know.
Just born.
She was just born. My name, because often people ask me, what does she call you? Does she call you Nana, Gina, Gima, whatever? I'm like, no. I created my own name.
Okay.
And it's Gina.
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 Where did that come from?
I made it up.
Okay.
It didn't sound like grandma. It didn't sound like granny.
Okay.
Nana.
Nana,
You just put
Glamma.
Gina.
So I just put Gina.
Okay.
So then when we're out, they're like, oh, you're too young to be a grandma. I
Exactly,
know. That's
yes.
why she's calling me
Gina.
Gina.
That's so cute. I love it.
So she's not talking yet,
Of
but we're
course.
hoping
Yes.
that she'll be able to say Gina.
Gina.
I don't know. It may come out something totally different, and if it does, guess what? I'm gonna love it.
Love it anyways.
I'm gonna love it anyway.
It's not gonna be grandma, so.
Yes. So anyway,
my
so it's,
goodness.
yeah. So I have my two beautiful daughters, and yeah, that's
Awesome.
it. So excited about that.
You know what I wanted to know? I wanted to know if they placed you on any medication.
Yes, they
Yes.
did actually. A blood thinner.
Okay.
So I take that blood thinner on a daily basis,
Okay.
just to keep and the cholesterol medicine.
Yes.
I don't have high cholesterol, but it's just to maintain
Of
everything.
course.
So I feel amazing.
Okay.
You know, I didn't have any residual effects. I have a little short-term memory loss, but other than that, that is it. So the second time my face was drooped like this, but look at that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
You can't
Right?
see. You can't
Gorgeous.
tell.
I cannot tell.
You can't tell.
But again, it's the grace of God, and I feel like He gave me my voice back so that I can use my voice to empower other women.
Absolutely.
So there's
Doing
a
it.
reason.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a reason. So yeah. So that is no lasting effect, and I'm thanking God every day for the ability to speak
Yes.
and to use my words to empower someone else.
Because you're helping them every single day.
Yeah,
You're helping
I'm
so many
trying.
people.
Trying.
Yeah.
We're now in our 8th year with Wow Legacy and Fall into Fabulous. So yeah, exciting.
Great.
I, for one, just saw a lot of people around me hurting. And I'm like, maybe I can help them with some of this healing if I just tell them
Yes.
what I have been through
Right.
and what I did to overcome it. So that's what was really the driving force. It had nothing to do with me. A lot of people come forth or are more transparent because it's healing for them.
Right.
But when I came forward, I had already experienced my healing.
Can you
Okay.
tell the viewers what it is that you were battling?
Well, I had a bout with depression. Being in the entertainment industry, it's oftentimes that the people that are in the spotlight, they lose themselves.
Yes.
They lose the human element because everyone expects you to be invincible.
Right.
They don't think you get tired. They don't think you're allowed to be hoarse. You know, they don't think you don't feel like singing one day. And then sometimes when you do, society will beat you up because
Yes.
they're like, oh, you have this gift, you don't want to use it, or you're
Right.
taking it for granted.
not
And
the
that's
case.
not that's not the case. I'm just a human.
Right.
Right? And I'm not Superwoman.
Right.
Nor Superman.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I really, battled who I was versus who CeCe Teneal was.
Yes.
And people can tell you all day long that there's no difference between the two, but you're definitely a different person when
Yes.
you're on stage versus when you're off stage. Yeah.
Yes.
Because you have to be able to channel. One thing I tell people all the time about the stage is that when I take the stage, all right, because I'm such a transparent, so vulnerable, if you will, when I take the stage, generally it's 300 plus people
Right.
in the room, right? And so imagine all of those 300 people pulling from one.
Yes.
All of their energy, negative, positive, good,
Right.
bad, happy, sad.
Yes.
Okay? They're all pulling from one person. And so when I would finish, I would be depleted. But then when I got home, I didn't have anybody to build me up.
Yes.
Instead, I felt like I was being torn down. So the only time I felt like I was doing anything that was worthwhile was when I was on stage.
Yes.
Okay, so sometimes doctors would feel the same way. They only feel like they're doing what what they need to do when they're saving lives,
Right.
or teachers only when they're in the classroom because you don't have that thing that's building you up, or you are unable to build yourself up.
Right.
And so I found that when I actually lost my job at BB King's, when I was doing that, or when I stopped singing so much, I didn't have anything to hang my hat on.
Right.
I didn't have anything to tell me I had a purpose.
Exactly.
So that's when the darkness came in. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And made me feel like I literally, felt like I was going on this ship because I needed to get away. And I felt like God had put me in that place to get away so that I
Yes.
could find myself. But when you're alone, that's when the enemy preys on your
Exactly.
mind. And literally, there were days when I was like, you know what? I could just walk off this ship and
Yes.
nobody would know.
Yes.
Nobody would know.
Right.
Oh, I'm glad to. I'm glad to. But my grandma always taught me, like, there's a still little voice that will tap you on your shoulder and say,
Yeah.
you're not done
No.
yet. You're not done yet. And so I'm just so thankful to be able to be here and tell the story and let people know that that there's hope, that there is gold at the end of the rainbow, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
There's all of
seem
those
like it.
things. It may not seem like it, and it won't seem like it a lot of times. But, you know, one thing that was very prominent for me was therapy. Was therapy and speaking my truth.
Yes.
You know, to those that wronged me. Right.
Exactly.
And so that's how I was, you know, how I was able to really overcome and get to a place of solace, you know.
We are talking, if you have not recognized, about mental health. And this is a topic that we definitely have to talk about in our community because it's taboo. And we're trying to raise awareness. We're trying to end the silence. We're trying to end the stigma. That's what we're trying to do here. And for CeCe to be so transparent and share her story, we really appreciate it. And I want you to tap into the anxiety a little bit.
Oh my gosh. So one of the things that I have learned about anxiety just through experience is that people generally just think, she crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something wrong with her.
first thing they say.
She's crazy. But anxiety will manifest itself
Yes.
in all different forms.
Yes.
It's not just, oh my God, what's that? It's not just that. It will manifest itself in anger.
Yes.
It'll manifest itself in lashing out at people. It manifests itself in all kinds of different ways depending on the person. And one of the things about my anxiety is that I could not shake it alone. I couldn't shake it alone. So I actually had to go on to an antidepressant
Yes.
to
Yes.
help. Right? So I was on an antidepressant for about 3 months. But what I found out is that depression causes a chemical imbalance. Okay? And anxiety is a symptom of depression.
Right.
Right? So people don't want to accept that anxiety and depression, they go hand in hand.
They do.
Right? And so I was on an antidepressant, you know, as well as a supplement for rescue, you know, so Lexapro
Yes.
for the anxiety
Yeah.
and Xanax for rescue. And finally, you know, once I started to feel better, my doctor weaned me off of it, but she said that I needed something
Okay.
to help me bounce back.
Okay.
And a lot of times we don't want to accept that we need a little something to help us bounce back,
Right,
you
right.
know. In our community, we want to say, you better get you some Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pray about
You
it.
know, pray
Yes.
about it, you know, or just let it go, or,
more than
you
that.
know, but sometimes you need more
need
than
more,
that,
yes.
especially when you think about our bodies and what they're going through, the types of foods that we're eating. It's not the same as it was back in the 60s.
No,
We're
it's
not
not.
the same people. It's not
No.
the same chemical makeup.
No.
So sometimes we need something to get us back on track.
Yes.
You know, and I was literally on med. I was on something for 3 months. And then she started to wean me off of it, which is not a long time. It just had to get my
Yeah.
body to shift. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
And it also shifted my mindset because I knew that I didn't want to be on medication for the rest of my life. I
Exactly.
didn't want to have to, because I've seen people that'll start on one dosage and then they'll increase.
To another.
Yes.
And then they'll increase. And I was determined not to increase. So I read my Bible.
Yes.
I talked to people. I took my medicine, but I also started to eat right. I started to really purge, you know, everything that was going on.
Yes.
That's
So then I was like, okay, you know what? I don't need these pills no more.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. That you know that it's there if you need it. If
It
you were to
was,
need it.
yes, it was. But, you know, but I've come past that point now. You know, and I think that sharing and helping other people and seeing my friends come through it and seeing them, actually not even just seeing them come through it, seeing them acknowledge
There you go.
that it's something.
Yes.
And then seeing them on the other side of it.
Yes.
That's what really is rewarding for me. And to see young ladies say, you know what, I think I might have an issue.
Exactly.
People being comfortable saying,
Yes.
let me look into this
Yes.
because I might have an issue.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if my story was enough to make somebody just look twice at themselves and say, and look in the mirror and say, I'm a little off balance. Something's not right. If just enough to have them channel and, or go and check to see if something's wrong, then my job has been done.
Done.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's done.
You reached a lot of people. I know
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I make myself available. I make myself available to have conversations because a lot of times I would feel like I was alone.
Yes.
You didn't have anyone that you could speak
Yeah.
to.
And then I also was like, well, I don't want them to think that CeCe Teneal is crazy.
You're right.
You know, so I can't talk to anybody. So I make myself available in a safe space. I post about it all the time. I know you guys probably see it. I'm like,
Yes.
hey, if you need somebody to
Right.
talk to, I am here. Yes.
But people are so fearful. That's the problem. People are very afraid to talk about it.
It's judgment.
Yes.
Fear of judgment.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just diagnosed the latter part of last year, November, with social anxiety disorder. So when I read that on Facebook, I said, oh my goodness, because I didn't know anyone who had this type of situation. So it was something, they say 40 million people suffer with anxiety disorder. It's quite a bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's so many different kinds. Like yours is, yours is social.
Yes.
Mine is stress induced. And so I really had to deal a lot with when I would take the stage.
Right.
People were like, are you nervous? Yes.
Right.
Every single time. Like
Time I get on
literally,
there.
literally about to pass out every time I used to take the stage.
Yes.
Yes. And my band would say,
Got
you,
it.
you got to calm down. You know what I mean? You got to calm down.
So you didn't use any comfort objects?
No,
No, okay.
no, I didn't. I mean, I don't drink. I
Okay.
don't, but no, I literally would have like a spaz out moment until I realized what it was, and then I needed to figure it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna want to work with me.
No, I know.
What's wrong with her?
Yeah, there's something wrong with her.
Yes.
Bad wrong with her. She's crazy. Yeah, so.
Good. So that's why it was important for you to talk about it.
It was, especially in the artistry community because, and for artists, but also especially for women,
Yes.
because we are conditioned and we are groomed and we are raised by our mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers and aunties and great aunts to be everything
Yes,
to
all the
everybody.
time.
And believe it or not, when we're not everything and when we don't have the capacity to be everything to everybody, that
Something's wrong
causes
with us.
us to be stressed.
It's true. That's so weird.
You know?
Yeah.
When how can you do everything? You know, and it's not like we're the same mothers and aunties and great aunties that we used to be. We're working moms.
Yes.
We are, business owners and entrepreneurs
Yes.
and CEOs
Exactly.
of major corporations, but also moms and wives and, aunties and daughters and sisters,
Exactly.
And so they didn't have the same plight that we have today in society.
Yes.
So you naturally are going to have a different coping mechanism, right? And so maybe they didn't get stressed out, but this life today is stressful.
Very stressful. Yes.
Yes,
So
it's
that's why it's
stressful.
important to seek therapy. People need to talk more about it.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's so many resources for therapy. We were talking about a few earlier where you don't even have to, because a lot of people don't want to go to therapy because they don't want to leave their home.
Yes.
But now with the institution of technology, you don't have to leave your home because you can video chat with your therapist.
Right.
You can chat with your therapist, and it is reasonably priced, wherein
Absolutely.
therapy used to be so taboo. And I think a big part of that in the African American community is because a lot of people that need therapy are on the poverty
Yes,
line.
yes.
So they didn't feel like they couldn't afford it. But I'm here to tell you, honey, these jobs have EAP
Yes.
that you can go get your sessions for
truth.
free.
It's true.
It is available now because the nation has bought into the idea.
Yes.
Right.
So that mental health
That
Yes.
is the truth.
is a problem here
Absolutely.
in our country.
Yeah, big
They just
problem.
introduced it into the schools. They're going to introduce it, which I'm happy to
Oh,
see that.
that's
I
awesome.
think that would have helped a lot of people back in my day if they. Yeah, me too.
Okay. It would have helped me.
Yes, definitely. So I'm happy about that.
Yes.
So let's find out a little bit more. Let's see. What symptoms can you tell us regarding anxiety, regarding depression?
So I think the major symptoms for anxiety, I'll start there.
Yeah.
The major symptom of anxiety for me was I was driving down the street one day and I had noticed that I wasn't right. Like something was wrong. Like everything was kind of setting me off. You know what I mean? Or making me like nervous. Or you've probably heard the term panic attack.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not having no panic attack. Whatever. Okay. And so literally, and so you know in Orlando, people pull out in front of you all the time.
All the time.
I mean, nobody, they just cannot drive.
No.
And I was driving to my office one morning, and I was running a little bit behind, and somebody pulled out and cut me off. And I literally just remember freezing in the middle of the road.
Oh my gosh.
And I couldn't move.
Yes.
And I knew at that point, I
Yeah.
mean, my heart was racing. I was sweating.
Yes.
And I knew at that moment, I was just, all I could do was call Jesus at that point, because I didn't know if I was dying. I didn't know if someone had hit me and it hadn't registered yet. Like,
Right.
I didn't know if I had hit the lady. I didn't know any of that. I just froze in the middle of the street with rush hour traffic around me.
Oh my goodness.
I drove myself straight to my doctor, and she literally told me, surprisingly enough, I have a Haitian doctor, and she said, "I've been seeing you deteriorate, but I couldn't say anything because you always came with your partner, and I didn't want to set her off." But she said, "You always came with her, but I wanted to tell you that I knew something was going on with you." And she immediately started treatment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, immediately started treatment.
Yes.
Glad you went when you did.
Yes,
God.
yes. So that was really the turning point for me. So now when I feel anxious, I can feel it. Then I couldn't feel it coming on because I didn't recognize what it
Of
was.
course.
But now I know, okay, something ain't right. Let me take a chill
breathing.
pill.
Yes.
Let me, I can feel it. I can feel it when it's coming. And then as far as depression, I'm a people person.
Yeah.
And I love, love, love people. And I'm also an artist, and I love my art. So when I stopped wanting to sing, I was like, okay, something's going on.
Yeah.
And then when I stopped wanting to be around my friends and I started to isolate myself, something's wrong.
Yes.
Like a yellow rose, all along the one I should have chose. When they all left me, you still held me close. Always been there for me, and it truly shows, truly shows. Now I know, and I'm not afraid to love you. Now I see. All I had to do was trust you. Now I need you to forgive me. I'm ready to get back to our beginning. Baby, I'm sorry that I left you, but I finally found the courage
Throughout history, women have been a driving force and played many vital roles. Their voices need to be uplifted, heard, and appreciated.
I didn't meet my parents till actually I was 5 years old. I just grew up with my grandmother, grew up with my brothers and sisters. Then our parents came and, they flew us to Virginia. And, from till I was 5 years old, I don't remember. What I can remember clearly is, my father was unfortunately molesting me. The enemy was in our home. And, I couldn't believe it because I thought, okay, this is the man I'm going to meet at first. I didn't know him for a long time. I didn't meet him till I was 5 years old. So when I first met him, he started doing these things to me at night. And, I went from being a little girl who was just careless and just ran around in the streets barefoot.
Right.
I mean, I grew up in Guatemala where we had volcanoes and we had black beaches. You can imagine we had palm trees. And it was just a beautiful tropical country. And, when I first met my father that night, he actually took all that away from me. So like I said, I went from being careless to being just running around to being in fear. And I remember thinking at 5 years old that I had to cover myself, because of what was happening to me. And I felt like I needed to cover my body. I actually was putting a lot of layers on.
You felt ashamed.
I felt ashamed. Right. And I felt like the pureness went away. And as a child, the things that you look for in a parent is to protect you and to guide you and just to have those moments with you that you'll remember as you get older. Right. But unfortunately, the memories I had was my father just really, molested me till I was about 12 years old. And then he unfortunately it's okay. Now that I can share my story and I can bring more awareness to women.
You'll help other people.
And I'm able to help other people. And thankfully, I went through this till I was about 12 years old. Then, unfortunately, I got raped by him as well. And, so I lived my life for a very long time not knowing who I was and thinking that the pain that I went through identified me. Right. And it wasn't until about a year and a half ago where I met my husband. Actually, before meeting my husband, I was asking the Lord. I got on my knees. And God just came to me and he said, you need to get on your knees right now. You need to ask me and pray to me what you want. Right. What is it that you need? And, I've had many just nights crying myself to sleep and just saying, Lord, take this pain away from me. But really, it had to take for me to surrender myself to him and really, just like he said, pray to me right now. Tell me what you want. And I asked him if he could just please send someone that's going to love me for who I am, love me for who for everything, all of me, because being raped and molested is not easy. No. And any woman that's been through that, they're going to be hiding through their shame for as long as they live. Probably there's women who probably still hiding their secrets right now. Most of us don't know about it, but so I just asked the Lord to send someone, and he did. 6 months later, he sent my husband.
Prayer works.
Yes, it does. Although I was praying for a very long time, I was single for 7 years. I lived in Miami. I moved from Virginia to Miami. And I just prayed, and 6 months later, believe it or not, he was actually my Uber driver. Oh my goodness! He was my Uber driver. What a story. All places. I never thought about it. So we had a little bit of like a 8-minute window where we got to know each other, and he had me laughing, I had him laughing, and my husband, naturally, he's a comedian. He's so silly. I mean, he makes me laugh all the time.
That's good.
My husband.
Keeps you young.
Yes, so he keeps me young. So, he heard my testimony, and he told me, wow, you have a very powerful testimony. It's meant to be heard. Other women are meant to hear what you have to say. You must share it, and you must let them know how you got healed. Obviously, for about maybe 6 months, he was reading the word to me. He was talking about this amazing man named Jesus Christ. And
that's beautiful.
And, by doing that, I was able to just pray to him and really just surrender myself to him and say, Lord God, take this pain away from me. Take the bottle away from me, actually, because I used to drink every night just to just suppress
Yes,
my
mhm.
pain.
Right.
You know, and he took that away from me. And then I got baptized November 12th, 2017. Gave up my life to the Lord, completely surrendered to him, and he is the only one who truly took my pain away. Now I'm able to share my story with you guys
Thank
and
you.
just really open and say I was a victim of molestation. I was a victim of rape, and all I want to do is just bring awareness to
Thank you.
women
We appreciate that.
to
yes.
let them know
Yes.
that you can be healed
You
through
can be
Jesus
healed.
Christ.
Did you have any time ask why me?
Oh, for the longest time, from when I was 5 years old till I was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now, I used to blame God all the time. And I strayed away from his word for a long time. I was actually raised in the church from 5 to 12 years old. So what I would do is I would see my father at the pulpit and my mother worshiping. She was in the worship
Oh my
team.
gosh.
We were actually Pentecostal.
Okay.
And I would just say, Lord, God, how can this happen?
To me.
I remember they speaking about Jesus. They were. And I would just say, how could this happen to me?
He was a pastor?
No, he wasn't a pastor.
Okay.
He was a elder. Or he was,
okay.
he was
Okay.
involved in the congregation.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm just sitting here like, why did I have to go through this as
Right.
a child? And we're in church, and he's praising, and he's just,
Right.
giving his life up to Christ, I guess, at that time. But I was just too young to remember. But I'm sitting here wondering, why would this happen to me? Why? And mainly, I was just angry at God.
Right.
Yes.
But then, he came to me and he said, stop being so mad at me. It wasn't my cause.
Right.
The enemy was in our house.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the Lord, I can't say he allows things, but I went through it so that way now,
You can help.
38 years old, 39 years old, I am able to bring awareness
Yes.
to women and really share my story and get them out of their deep pain.
Absolutely.
Truly, truly get to the root of their pain.
Right.
Because a lot of women, yes, we look beautiful with our makeup,
Right.
our hair, our dresses,
Right.
but that's just a mask.
That's right.
Exactly.
The
Hiding.
Lord made us. He wonderfully, fearfully
That's
made
right.
us. He took his time with us, yes. So, of course, by nature,
Right.
we want to
Yes.
look beautiful.
Of course.
But what I want to do is I want to just really, truly tell you how to heal that pain.
Yes.
And
Good.
the only way you can truly heal that pain is through the Word of God.
That's right.
Through Jesus Christ. He did it for me. He could
He'll do it for
definitely for
you.
you.
Absolutely.
And I know that he restored me. He redeemed me. He remembered me.
Thank God.
And I just said, thank you, Jesus, every day. I even have a book called How Jesus Christ Changed
Yes.
Our Lives.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes.
Yes.
So, funny story. My husband, of course, this is through the process, and this is a journey that I'm still going. It's only been 2 years, and he said, "Oh, you have to write your testimony in
That's
a book."
right. Yes.
So we met a guy. His name is Dr. Patrick Bissainthe. He's from the UK,
Okay.
and he has books that pretty much focus on how, let's say, Les Brown changed our lives. Or how Jesus Christ changed our lives. So my
Okay.
husband said, oh my God, I think you will be great at doing this. And I'm like, you think so? I don't know. I mean, I'm just really starting to tell people my story.
Right, right.
I'm really counting. When I first started telling people my testimony, I was counting the people I was telling.
Oh, boy.
I will go home and tell my husband, babe, oh my God, the 9th person I told today. And my husband's like, stop counting the people.
Just tell it.
Yes, just share your
let
story.
the words flow. And then the Lord came to me. He said, let your words flow like honey.
Right.
So I stopped counting.
Very good.
So in the midst of that, my husband helped me write. I thought I was only going to write about 300 words. No, I went from 300 words to almost 4,000 words.
Oh, my
goodness.
gosh.
7 pages in a book called How Jesus Christ Changed Our Lives. So it goes in deeper into my testimony, and it talks about what happened to me from childhood till now.
We'll have to get that.
Yes, so with that book, it shares my story on how, like, I met my husband, which, he was my Uber driver, and, it just tells you what the Lord could do in your life.
That's
and
right.
how he could truly change it, because I went from being single for 7 years to being married within a year and having 3 beautiful stepchildren that I love so much.
that's nice.
He was married prior to
Right.
meeting me,
Right.
but like me, I was lost, and so was he. And he was really looking for that true connection.
Right.
And he found it.
Yeah, and he found it, and who connected us was God. This was truly God ordained.
Yes.
He connected us together, and now we're just both on fire for the Lord.
That is
You
beautiful.
know, my husband's part of a men's ministry. I'm in a women's ministry,
Okay.
and fast forward now, because of me just sharing my story within 2 years, I'm now Mrs. First Runner-Up Corporate America. And I never thought in my life that I could do this, but all I did was just surrender my life to
And
Christ.
that's it.
And now I am an author.
Awesome.
Now I'm the first runner-up for Mrs. Corporate America.
Yes, you're moving on
You
up.
know, and I'm moving on up because the Lord
Yes.
just said, you know what?
This
You
is
are
time
my
now.
vessel. You are my child. And you are a daughter of a king. And he just, you know, these are the words of my husband. It speaks life into me.
Yeah.
And together we both encourage each other to really just, I mean, the Lord paved our way. He already numbered our steps. He knows.
That's powerful.
You know, he knows
Wow.
the hairs we have counted on our hair.
That's right.
On our head.
Yes.
So, you know, he already knows what's going to happen. All we could do is just align ourselves with his word and
Right.
be obedient.
That's it.
Right.
So by being obedient, this is how I got the sash and how I'm a speaker. But I humbly say that.
Yes,
because, you
yes,
know,
we understand.
Beautiful.
Yes, yes.
Did
so
you ever get that apology or anything from your dad?
I did not. I did not, honestly. I actually asked my mother for forgiveness.
Yes.
Okay.
And I told her I forgive her. I had to do that.
Because she knew what was going
She knew
on.
what was going on. I told her when I was 8 years old, and when I told her when I was 14. She said, I provoked it. But I told her I forgive her. And if she's watching, you know, most likely she will be. I told her I forgave her. I forgave her last year. I went to Virginia. That's where I originally, you know, when we moved from Guatemala. And
Right.
I told her I forgive you. And even then, she was like, you know, I didn't touch you. Your father did. But, you know, you have to take ownership
Absolutely.
and understand, because as a mother, we're
You're
here
to
to protect
protect.
our children.
That's right.
And I definitely didn't get that. And although maybe maybe somehow she protected me in her own way, you know, but growing up, I didn't feel it.
Protected, you
I
didn't
didn't feel
feel it.
protected. I don't remember if she ever hugged me, you know, or loved me. Maybe she did. I'm not sure. But all I remember is just the bad memories. But
Oh, gosh.
I asked her for forgiveness, and I actually was supposed to go up back home to ask my father for forgiveness as well. Just tell him to forgive. But you know how the enemy works.
Of course.
You know, but the Lord is higher, you know,
Yes.
and
right.
he's going to make it happen one day. But I already forgave
No,
him.
that's the God in you.
Yeah, that's the God in me. Yeah, I already forgave him.
Yes.
So I am set free. I am good.
Yes.
And when that happens, that will probably be one of the happiest moments of my life as well.
You're really free.
Because I'm really, truly free.
Yes.
I
Very
mean,
good.
there's no chains holding me down anymore because I completely surrendered my life to Christ. But it would be beautiful if you have that moment
Right.
Yes.
where you
Absolutely.
just say, I forgive you. I mean,
Yes.
I forgave him in my heart.
Yes.
And I pray for him all the time. I do, because, you know, the one thing God doesn't want us to, he doesn't want from us is for us to perish.
Yes.
That's
So I
right.
pray for my father always, and my mother as well. But, you know, I'm here, I'm happy,
Yes.
and I'm at peace with the Lord.
Good.
Very good.
Yeah.
What would you, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self, the younger you?
Oh, that is such a great question. You know, when I went to the Mrs. Corporate America and I had a panel, all these ladies in front of me, I was so nervous, but I said, Lord, Holy Spirit, guide
Yes.
me. They asked me the same question.
Okay.
They asked me, what would you tell the 14-year-old self, your 14-year-old self, you? If I were me, I would tell her and encourage her to reach out to community.
Okay.
Because, you know, I know when I was younger, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was
You don't wanna be
ashamed.
bothered.
Yes.
You know, I would encourage her to reach out to a church, to a community, because I know the pain and I know the hurt and I
Right.
know the shame. And this is why I want to get involved in helping younger women.
Yeah.
And my heart does hurt when I hear younger women that they're going through or they went through it.
Yes.
And I talk to them and I try to encourage them and tell them just to reach out to community, reach out to a church,
Right.
and just have a lot of women around you that are already healed,
Yes.
that can help heal you and truly just heal you with the word.
That's right.
You know, because with the word, once you read it, you'll really understand it. It'll convict you and
Right.
it'll free you from anything that you've gone through.
Yeah.
So truly, I would just tell her to reach to a community because I know I wanted to do that when I was
Yes.
younger, but we
Okay.
didn't have a community.
Of
There
course.
wasn't that much awareness.
So you
There
couldn't
wasn't.
go anywhere to get
I
any
couldn't.
therapy or anything.
Right. I truly try to reach out because, you know, I had so much anger and I didn't want this anger anymore.
Right.
But the minute I tried to reach out, and I think it was just because I told my mom, I felt rejected. So I really didn't really reach out, but now we have so many organizations that are able to help young women.
Yes.
This is, we're talking about in the 90s, we didn't really have too many organizations
No.
helping young women.
Right.
So I was afraid, I was in fear
course.
and in
Right.
shame, but now I just want to encourage young women to speak up.
Very good.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good.
So did you have any therapy? Did you?
I actually did not.
No.
My only therapy was Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I am telling you right now, he took my pain away. And obviously, you know, now there's times where I do have flashbacks, but I give it up to the Lord. I stay consistent in prayer. My husband and I, we fast, you
Okay.
know, so because there's times where I do have those flashbacks and those memories.
Of course.
These are things that were hard. I mean, you know, it's hard to say you're coming back from being raped and molested.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
So, but what I can really say is the Lord truly healed me, and you know, every time I think about it or the enemy tries to just, you know, throw those thoughts at me, I just take it up to prayer,
Yes.
That's right.
and the Lord immediately takes it away. But that he was my therapy, Jesus. Jesus was.
Powerful.
I mean, the word is black and white.
Yes.
It's black. It will convict anybody.
Yes.
If you want your heart to convict it. You know. So, but with me, I was ready. I was ready to just surrender and say, Lord, take
Yes.
this from me. I
Yes.
don't want it anymore.
Yes.
So yeah.
I was going to ask you what keeps you going every day, but I already know that answer.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, this is where we're gonna go into the first hour for men as well.
Yes.
We give up our first hour to the Lord every morning.
Right, when you
Every
get up,
morning, the Lord says, you know, give up your hour to me, and then you'll see
Give me
how
my
we're
time.
moving it.
Right.
Give me my time, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
As children of God, we're supposed to give our time, just like parents.
Exactly.
You know, we give our time to our kids, the kids give our time back to us, and then we heal one another through that time.
Right.
So what we do is we just stay in constant prayer. My husband and I, we stay in our word, and we read our devotionals, and we wake up every morning, we give up first hour to him.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good.
So you shared all of that with us, but what do you do for self-care? What do you do to relax?
Oh, to relax, I honestly, like, I love to read.
Okay.
I love to read. I read about 3 books a month.
Really?
And
That's good.
yes, yeah, I love to read. It just, you know, relaxes me. And I also actually, believe it or not, right now, not so much, I work out.
That's
My
good.
husband and I,
Good.
we like to work out. We like to eat healthy. I don't eat meat.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So meat kind of tends to just not sit well in my
Okay.
body, so
Yeah.
we just cut meat.
Okay.
Although I did eat grill and tasso the other day.
We forgot to mention
We
that.
forgot to mention that, right? So, but it's so good.
Yes,
But,
it is.
Just vegetables, greens, and my husband and I, we work out because we have to take care of
Of
our
your temple.
We do. It
Yes.
says it in his word, and we did gain a little pounds. Husband, I'm calling
Yes.
you out. But you know, we're coming back.
Yes, we're
to
coming
it.
back.
We're coming back to it.
So tell
yeah.
the audience, who are you married to?
I am married to Jonathan Nicolas. He's actually Haitian as well. So he introduced me to all the amazing foods
food.
from Haiti. Oh my God, you guys have tasso griot. How do you say
Dijon,
Dijon, right? La bouillie, which
Yes.
is my favorite.
Yes. And
our-
you was telling us that you made some
You're a
labouille.
I did. I actually am a cook. I love to cook. I've traveled to so many places, and I just ask, you know, I got this from my mom. I did get this from her, which is really good because you always want to get the good memories.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Hold on to those good memories that you had as a child. So what my mom would do when we were growing up is she would go to the restaurant, and she was bold enough, and she'll ask the chef for the recipe.
Right.
So, you know, that I got that from her. So now I'm bold, and I ask them too. I'm like, hey, what's the recipe? Tell me. So I cook, and my husband loves how I cook. And my husband actually introduced me to Haitian food.
Okay.
And
So
you love it.
I love it. Oh
Yes.
my God, it's so bad for you, but I love it.
I think it's the best food in the world.
Yeah, pickle is
Pickle,
my
please.
favorite. We have this dish called pupusas. It's from El Salvador, but people from Guatemala eat it as well.
Okay.
So you know that shredded cabbage that you guys have pickly?
Right.
We also put that on top of our pupusas. It's like
Okay.
a stuffed tortilla.
Okay.
And I'm like eating it, but it's spicier.
Yes.
Yours is spicier, but I'm still eating it.
tastes
It's like,
delicious.
wow, babe, you want your own plate of that? I'm
Yes.
like, I do. You know,
Very
so,
good.
But yeah, he loves how I cook, and he's just amazing. I'm so thankful and grateful to the Father for sending my husband.
I'm glad you found him.
Yes, I did. It's really important for husbands to cover their wives.
Absolutely.
You know,
Very.
the husband is the head of the house,
Household.
head of the household, and he says we are to submit to one another in reverence to the Lord.
That's
in
right.
reverence
All
to
right,
him.
preach.
Right. Not to say, okay, I'm barefoot in the kitchen,
Right,
pregnant,
right.
gotta cook. No. Because, you know, Proverbs 21, if you guys read what Proverbs 21 is supposed
Yes.
to 31 is supposed to represent, she's out as well, and she uses her hands, and she takes care of the kids as well. So we're not just there in the
That's right.
kitchen barefoot. We can also be, you know, doing our own thing, having our own businesses, bringing awareness
Yes.
to certain things, you
Yes.
know, and this is what I like to do on a day-to-day basis. And also, I love to cook, and, you know, my husband's is Ephesians 5 man, you know, where he's out there and he's preaching the word and the gospel as well.
Okay.
So we both understand each other's roles. He understands he's my husband, I understand I'm his wife, and in just a little bit of 2 years, we've done so much together.
What a great partnership.
Yes.
Very good.
Both us, we've been in long-term relationships, him and I, and just we've done so much in this,
That's great.
in this small 2 years, more than we've ever done with other people that we've been with.
Right.
And because we really truly centered our relationship back to Christ,
Okay.
back to God. And we said, this is our center, and this is how we're going to build a relationship and kill building, because that's what God wants us to do.
That was
in
the key.
That's the key.
That's the key.
That's the main key, and that's why I encourage other couples to just say, okay, everything, if we're fighting or anything's going on in your marriage, just center it back to God.
To God. Take
That's
it to God.
Take it to God. That's it. Pray it up to Him.
What advice would you give to someone that has gone through the same thing, like a young girl who's experiencing the same?
Or even an older woman.
Yeah, true.
Women your age.
Yeah.
For a younger woman, I would, even for an older woman as well, I would encourage them to share their testimony.
Okay.
You know, I went to a women's group, a Bible study group, and I just went in there like, I'm just going to share my testimony
Right.
with anybody,
Right.
or everybody's going to hear my testimony, you know? So with me sharing my testimony, it opened up for other women
To
share.
open and share
Absolutely.
theirs.
Yeah, to open and share theirs. Where I had 2 women that were saying, oh my God, I've known you for like 10 years. I never knew that about you.
Oh, wow.
So my thing is just I would encourage them to just read the word. I know there is therapy. There is therapy, Christian therapy. But for me, I'm a firm believer of reading the word, truly getting involved in the community, and just being around other people that are on fire for the Lord, because when I tell you Jesus truly will heal you, He will.
Yeah.
Hope you gained some inspiration from these courageous women. We are so honored to be a part of a community that celebrates women who are brave, successful, and determined to push and overcome obstacles.
At that age, because we were in our 20s, how did that make you feel
Which part?
when he passed away?
When Dad passed away? Well, the thing is, he was our everything.
Yes,
You know?
everything.
Because with Mom not being able to take us places, he used to take us to
Get our
the
hair
beauty
done,
salon.
yeah.
I mean,
Everything.
shopping, whatever was going on, he was there for us. So that was just a big, big loss.
It was a big shock.
Yeah, it was a shock and a loss, because you just don't, I mean, from a simple accident, he just had an accident, you know, that's it. So who would have thought that something like that would have died? Sometimes I think that I'm still in a fog about that.
Yeah, me too.
It's like a fog, because
Yeah.
it was over almost 26 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, that's most of, half of our lives.
Yeah, I'm still shocked about it because
Yeah.
the way that it occurred, it just was so fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too fast, Love your parents. We don't know how long we have them for. Just love them, love on them. Whatever difference is, whatever it is that you have,
Put it aside.
put it aside. It doesn't even matter.
You only have one parent.
That's it.
That's it.
You probably can't even remember what the argument was about.
Exactly. Yeah, and look at the times that we're in right now with this pandemic that's going on.
People
this
are
is the time that
dying.
everybody needs to gather together.
That's right.
And be as one.
That's
be a
right.
family.
That's right.
I love my family.
Oh, yeah,
We're
me
always
too.
together. I love being with my family. We have a good time. We're always laughing.
We laugh.
Yeah.
We finish each other's sentences.
Absolutely.
We wear the same clothes.
We like the same styles.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
so it's almost like we're twins.
Exactly.
Almost. And so in the marriage,
Uh-huh.
we're going back to this. In the marriage, what sort of things did you experience, if you can share?
Well, it was, like I said, losing Dad. It was almost like a father figure almost, father, always demanding, always saying, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're not going to do. It's almost like he picked up where my dad left off. Not that dad was,
No,
you
he
know,
was-
a bad person or
yeah, he was
anything,
so
but
sweet.
they were very, our parents
Strict.
taught us, they were very, very strict, and we knew what needed to be done.
Exactly.
So it's like he almost picked up where
Picked up where
dad
he left off.
Yeah, where dad left off
Yeah.
when dad passed. So it was just a lot of controlling, but it seemed like he was more strict, of course, than dad. It was just like something that you just couldn't, I don't know, you love the person. You love the person, and who wants to argue? Sometimes I would just walk away. You know,
Yeah.
he would find me, and
That
then
only
the
stresses you out even
arguments
more.
would start, but it was just every little thing. It was like I wasn't good enough.
Did you feel that you weren't good enough, or he just portrayed that to you?
No, he made me feel like I was not good enough. And I had all this education, more education than him.
Right.
I mean, I had all these talents. I was a happy person.
So maybe he was just trying to lower your self-esteem.
Probably
you think?
so, maybe to lift his. I'm not sure. But it was just he had like a real hold on me.
Was it narcissistic behavior?
I believe it was. I believe it
sounds
was.
like it.
It seems like it. Do people know what a narcissist is?
Narcissists, they basically think of themselves. They're controlling. It's their way or no way.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's
So
this.
it almost seemed like that was him. And if I tried to, or anytime I said, you know, you need to go get some help,
Right.
I don't have a problem, you have a problem.
Usually that's what happens.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem, it's you. So, you know, no matter how many times I would ask,
Did you feel that you had a problem though?
I felt like it's almost like he had a way of making me feel like it was me. And I know that, I mean, I'm not perfect.
No, no one is.
I'm not perfect, but if I cook, I clean,
Take care of the kids.
take care of the children, you're taken care of, and then at night when I'm trying to sleep,
taking
you still taken care of. I mean, come on.
Yes.
You know, you would think that, okay, man, you've got it going on.
Exactly.
And I would tell him that, you got it going on. You act like you don't know it, but you got it going on.
So if you realize that, you just wanted to remain because of the children, or
Yes, because, you know, I had the oldest. I had my oldest child, you know, before him.
right?
So I had her, so that was one father. And here,
So you were trying to just hang in there and make it work.
right, make it work. Who wants to go through a divorce?
Nobody wants to go through that.
I don't want that for my children.
Right.
I wasn't experienced that. I wasn't brought up in that type of household.
Exactly.
You know, mom and dad, we never saw the argument. I'm not saying that they were the perfect couple and they never argued, but we never really saw that.
I've never ever seen it.
No,
never
they
ever
would do
seen it.
that behind closed doors, and that's the way it should remain.
Well, at first I used to think that, but then after I got married, I realized that no, because I honestly thought it was supposed to be fairy tale. My first argument, I started saying,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, we're not going to make it. And then I was told, no, that doesn't mean that. That's real life.
Right.
So you should let your children see disagreements.
A disagreement,
Yes.
but not a major argument where you're cursing at each other.
Exactly.
That should not be
No,
in front of
absolutely
your
not.
children. But I agree. You're right. Yeah, a simple disagreement they need to see because nothing is perfect.
Nothing's perfect. It's not a fairy tale. It's not a soap opera.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought I was living a fairy tale. I really did.
I didn't feel that way because I know when you all used to visit, I would feel
Mm-hmm.
that something was there. I didn't say anything, but I felt something was there because there was little things that was said by him, and then I'd say, well,
Why would he say that?
yeah, why would he say that? Why is he trying to attack her in that way?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
But why I say fairy tale is because I had this big, beautiful wedding.
it was
You know,
beautiful.
I had, you know, it seemed like I could just do whatever I want. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to really look at my bank account because I knew it was being taken care of. Money was there. I just swiped my card. And so that part right there, I say, I thought it was a
stable.
fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people personally that they struggle
Exactly.
every single day, you know? So at that moment, for those few things, I'm like, oh, I'm fine.
You can deal with it.
I can deal with this. It's
Exactly.
going to be okay. I can deal with it. So I stayed. And here we go.
When the children came into the picture, did it become worse?
On the outside looking in, I realized that when my son was born, and I had to put my attention, basically most of my attention, to a newborn. He
Yes.
can't take care of himself.
Right.
He can't feed himself.
He
He
didn't
can't
have to
change
be
his
here.
diaper. He did not ask to be here.
Right.
So some of that attention was not on my spouse. So at that time, I feel like that is when it started because he wasn't getting all of my attention. It needed to be about him.
Was he supportive, though, with the child?
Absolutely not.
So you had to do everything?
Yeah, everything was a show. You
I
know, it was a
realize
show.
that, yeah.
I had to have, you know, I had a Mercedes
Of
when we
course.
got together, and I had to have the biggest Mercedes, so he bought me another. And everything was a show. We would go to church, and he would have to pull under the, what do you call that?
Awning.
Had to pull there, come open the door for me, help me out, basically like carrying me out of the car, get the children out, drop us off, you know, like the good husband should.
Of course.
But what was happening in
At
the car
home.
or in
Oh,
the car
okay.
before we even got out,
Oh, my goodness.
believe me, it was nothing.
It was
was
pretty.
nothing nice.
Wow.
So,
and you're
yeah.
walking in the church.
Right, praying and
Praising
looking
God.
at people and giving people advice on how.
Yeah, I remember that. A lot of
know.
advice was always given.
Yeah, you need, and I would always say, why don't you take and use some of your own medicine?
Oh, wow.
You're preaching, you're telling people all of this, but then you're not using any of it as well. You're not
Yourself.
using it.
Practice what you preach.
There you go. But you know, he was just, he thought he did no wrong. So,
What was the final breaking point, you feel?
well, let me say that about 2 years later after having my son, and I realized that I don't think that I just can't do this. And I didn't want to disappoint mom and dad because of all the money. You have to think there was a lot of money that they spent, and that's just me. That's just the kind of person, you know, just
course.
because of how we were raised.
Of course.
That
They
all
spent
this
so much,
money
yeah.
was spent on me. They
Yes.
could have spent that money on something else,
Exactly.
paid a couple extra bills or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just said, I think I could do it. Let me just try. And then finally, from going, you know, hyperventilating, having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, I'm like, listen, I have to value myself more.
Absolutely.
I have to value myself more. So I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I can't. I think we need to just separate or get a divorce. I just can't do it.
You didn't think to actually do counseling before?
I asked
You
several
asked them,
times.
What did you get back in
No,
return?
that there was something wrong with me. It was not him. That I'm the one that needs to seek counseling and not him. So he just didn't want it.
He was
didn't want to hear
stubborn,
it.
or he just didn't
He
want
just
it?
said no, because
Okay.
he would have the last word.
Of course.
He had the first and,
And
the
the
last
last.
word. So it's like, here I am sitting like a dummy. Now looking at it, I'm like, I was so dumb.
But a lot of people, I'm sure, are saying, well, why didn't you just leave? You know how people love to say
and
that.
I hate when
I
people
can't
say
stand it
that.
either.
Unless you have been in an abusive
Walk
relationship,
in my shoes.
do not, don't you dare say, well, why did you stay? Or why didn't you leave? What was your problem? Maybe there's something wrong with you.
Right.
Because if you're going through all that, why would you stay and then have kids? Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up.
I know that's right. I agree.
Yeah,
Yes,
no.
don't
I'm
speak
not-
on it. Don't
I'm
speak
not-
on it.
If you want to really piss me off, you start having that kind of conversation with me. Until you walk in my
It's
shoes,
true.
don't speak on it.
Yeah, you don't know what somebody is going through behind closed doors. I know we felt things were going on, but we didn't say anything. I'm the type of person who, unless somebody is physically hitting you,
Right.
I'm not gonna let
Right.
somebody deal with their own relationship.
Right.
But I remember one time when Mom was here and he said, she can't leave me because nobody's gonna want her with all these kids. And I said to myself,
What is wrong
I
with this
can't
guy?
believe this man is saying this to
To
the
his
sister
mother and the mother. That just tells you the type of person that,
I said,
I
what?
mean, who says that in front of
I
your
said
family?
she can find anyone she wants. She's beautiful. Just because she has the kids does not mean she can't find anybody.
Right. But he would say that all the time. He would
It
always
was like
tell me that.
belittling you.
Right. Matter of fact, I've got to read an insert from the book, out of the book. If you leave me, no one is going to want you with kids, so you may as well just stay. And that was just all the time. All the
I
time.
don't know why he felt that way, though. Just because you have kids does not mean that you cannot find another partner.
Because that's how some people want to cripple you. They want you to stay and deal with whatever. They want you to deal with the negativity, the abuse. They want you to deal with that. And that's where I was.
And he wasn't on any medication of any kind?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that I know of. I really can't speak on anything else.
Right.
But he wasn't well. I didn't see him as being somebody that's well.
Right.
You know. And you know what? A lot of times, you know, we keep quiet. As a person that has been abused or a victim, we keep quiet, and it's almost like we're protecting that person. Why am I protecting you? You have not done anything to help me. I'm not protecting you. I'm going to tell my story.
Yes.
I'm going to tell
Whether
my
you
story.
like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. I have to tell my story
Yeah.
because that that helps me grow.
Absolutely.
And that's helped me grow over the years.
Yeah, you are very strong. You have really been through. I've seen it, witnessed it. It's a lot.
It's
And
a-
then to boot, no form of child support.
No. No, he refused. If you don't want to be with me, I'll make sure you don't get any money, nothing at all.
And what
that-
man, father, says something like that regarding taking care of his kids?
Somebody that's a narcissist or somebody that
That's-
just wants to just control every
Control the
situation.
situation.
Because these are your kids. I didn't just have them. I wasn't Mary.
Right.
I wasn't the Mother Mary.
Right.
You know, I didn't just have these kids by myself. So, you know, well, whoever you're with, they can help take care of the kids. Who says that to somebody?
I've never heard of something like that. But
Well, here we go, almost 15 years later.
that's a long time
Yeah.
without any type of support.
And you ask why I do all these jobs?
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it
I
makes
have
sense.
to take care of myself and my children.
Yeah, and it takes a strong, firm woman to do that. And
have
it
to.
speaks on your parents.
Yes.
It speaks on your upbringing.
Great, strong.
Yes.
Very
They
strong.
did an awesome job with
Yeah.
us. They really did.
And that's why I tell myself, I cannot fail. They struggle. They came into this country. Our ancestors
Yes.
struggled. I am not going to fail. I will not. So that's what keeps me going every single day is looking at those kids. They need me. They
have
need
no-
me.
yeah, there's no choice.
You know, they do. He does see them every few months.
Right.
But where are you? Where
Right.
were you? Sometimes I feel so bad for my children. I used to cry at night, like, why do they have to go through this? They didn't ask to be here.
Yeah.
Why?
Do they ever say that?
They don't say it, but you know,
can
you
see
can
it.
see it.
Yeah, you
They're
can see it.
missing something.
Yes.
You know, they're missing something. And I can't just have any random man just move into my house
No.
to play father figure for my children.
Yeah, in that case, you would have to just get a mentor.
And that's what
Yeah.
I eventually had to do,
Right.
especially for my son.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had
Yeah,
to do
'cause
that.
especially the boys, they need to have a male role model.
Yeah, and
Because
I've
daughter,
seen, yeah, I've seen the when I look at him sometimes, you know, even the other day. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever see the show, but he'll be old enough.
One day.
Yeah, but just the other day, I said, "Son, what's going on?" And then he looked at me and he goes, "It's nothing." And then I said, "You can talk to me about anything. You know that.
Boy.
You can talk to me about anything because I see the pain in his eyes."
Yes.
And he said, he goes, "I just feel like I don't matter."
Oh my gosh.
And I said, "Son, don't say that. That hurt me to my
my
heart.
gosh.
That hurt me to the core because everything I do is for
them.
my kids."
Exactly.
He goes, "I feel like I don't matter." And I know how it is for especially our black young men.
yes.
They go through so much.
It's a lot.
You know, they go through so much. So to hear your child
Say that.
suffering, I see him. Sometimes I look at him and I just see the hurt. He is hurting.
Yeah.
He's hurt, and there's nothing I can do.
Not a thing.
All they want is their dad. That's it. All they want. I can only be mom. You know, some women will say, "I don't need a man. I can do it." Yes, I have. I have dated, and there have been men in my life that have stepped up to the plate. They have stepped up to the plate, but that's not their
It's
father.
not their father. Yes.
That's not their
It's not the
father.
same.
It's not filling that
Yes.
void.
Yes.
You know, I'm glad that they did that. They didn't have to. But furthermore, they would have to do something because if you have me and my
gotta-
kids are a package.
Package deal.
So
So do you think maybe he needs some type of help? He sounds depressed.
listen, that's why I got him the mentor, and I'm
Okay,
hoping,
very good.
you know, and I always make sure, you know, I show the love. There's a lot
You
of
have to,
times that I
yeah.
end up coming home late, you know, but
So
I'm
tired, but still.
I'm tired, but I still go in there,
have to.
still have conversation with them. I send text messages.
Yeah.
We do, you know, video. You know, so I try.
Very good. Yeah, I feel that the love that you've shown the kids, I feel that that's going to carry them through life because they've had
so.
a real strong foundation. You did an excellent job, great job.
I did the best I could with what I had.
I know he's getting ready to go to the military. and
Yes,
I'm so proud of him. I'm
of
happy.
him.
Yes, I'm so
I
happy
will
about
cry
that.
like a baby, but it's tears of joy, and of course I'm gonna miss him.
Yes.
Because we're always together.
I know.
You know.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's plane tickets.
That's right.
He could come and visit.
That's
so-
what I told him to make him feel comfortable. I'm like, wherever you are, Mackenzie and I will come and visit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know we're getting pretty low on time. I don't know if you wanted to share anything with the viewers regarding domestic violence, regarding anything else that's personal.
Yeah. Really, just honestly, if I can do it with 3 small kids, I'm not saying that I'm just so different and I'm so special and I'm all that, because I'm not all that. But if I can do it, you can do it too. You can contact the domestic violence hotline. I know Harbor House. There's so many agencies and companies that help. There is so much help available right now. Do not be scared. Call the police. Run to a neighbor. You know, if you trust or if you want to involve your family members, call your family members. My sister has been my crutch throughout this whole situation over all these years. I don't know what I would do without her. So you've got to find that person. You've got to find that help. Get out. There is life after divorce. There is life after bad marriage. There is life after an abusive marriage. There is life. I'm here. I'm proof.
Yep.
I've got a lot of bruises, but I'm here.
You're here. You're still standing.
Yes, I'm still standing.
My final question, because we got to hurry up and get out of here. Have you forgiven him?
That's a tough one. It really is. That is really a tough one because, you know, most people, the man ends up turning around and showing that, you know what, they're empathetic, they're willing to help, you know, take care of their children.
Right.
But he has not,
Yeah,
that never happened. It's never happened. You know, picking up your kids once every 2 months, that's not, no, you need to be there for your children. So they'll take that with them. That's something that hurt, that they'll take with them for the rest of their lives. And I hope that when they become adults, that they, as parents, are there for their children. I'm not telling them to stay in a bad relationship, but I hope that they are there for their children. It's very, very important.
Yeah, I'm sure they will, because they've had great examples from both sides of the family, so I'm sure that they will.
Yeah, I hope
and I just want to say thank you for sharing your heartfelt story with everyone.
Yeah, I wish I could really say more,
Yeah,
you know, but I think that I believe I said.
Yeah, you said what you needed to say. Yeah, and we thank you, and
Yeah, thank you, sis. I love you.
love you too. Born in Brooklyn, New York. Got to do that. I got to say that. First generation Haitian American.
There you go.
Yes.
That's right.
But to answer your question, I did feel different growing up. I honestly did not feel that I was part of the family.
Why is that? Why would you say that, or what would you think make you feel that way?
I didn't think that I looked like anyone in the family. I felt like I was too dark. I felt that my hair was too silky. I felt that I was too curvy.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. People are paying a lot of money to look like that.
Stop it. I just didn't feel that I blended in. And to boot, I was very reserved and quiet. And everybody else in the family was lively. And
we just took it as you being shy. You know, you were very quiet.
Right.
But not everybody has to be loud like me.
That's true. That's true. No, it got to the point that I think I was 12 that I asked Mom, I pulled her aside and asked her, am I adopted? That's how bad it got, because I said, I don't think that I'm part of this family.
And look, we look exactly alike.
Well, that's what they say. I don't see it. We're close. We're similar. Yeah. But yeah, that's what everybody says.
And what did Mom say?
So that's, growing up, I didn't feel that.
What did Mom say? What was her response when you said that am I part of this family?
You tell me the response.
Yeah, you were part of this family. You look, as a matter of fact, you look like great grandma.
I look like her and my dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've seen pictures, and his great grandmother had that beautiful, long, silky hair. You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
I realized afterwards that it was just me coming up with some stuff. I just didn't feel that I blended in.
And now?
And now I feel like I'm totally blended. Totally, completely.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
We couldn't do without you. When did you realize that something just was not quite right? That I'm a little different, or I'm not like the rest of my siblings? Something is just not right.
Honestly, it's been, like you stated, over 36 years, but I just realized it a year ago.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
We just thought, you're just shy. That's just how we took it.
It's not shy. Yeah, it's even more than shy, which I'll get into a little later. But I was sitting in the parking lot of the doctor's office, and literally, I had a mental breakdown in the car. I was just shaking, crying. Phone rang. I couldn't pick up the phone. I clicked it on, and all I could hear is words like the person calling my name. And I just...
Like you were getting ready to snap.
I felt like I was just going to scream. And, yeah, so after that, I ended up getting a referral for some type of therapy because I knew something was wrong. That was the first. After that, a few months later, still waiting for my therapy appointment, we were going to a family member's birthday party. And this is when I really knew that something's wrong with you. I purchased 7 dresses for this party because I didn't like how any of them fit on me, which I'll let you see.
Right.
They looked nice on me, but I felt that I was looking too fat, or my hips were sticking out, my butt's protruding. I just felt overweight.
Your worst critic.
And yes, I felt everything looked wrong. So I had to pick one dress because I said, I'm not buying another dress.
Right, 7
I just
is
kept
enough.
buying dresses. So I said, let me just find the best one. So I wore that dress, and still that evening I did not feel comfortable in the dress. So I did research online, trying to figure out what it is that's going on. I took a test online and failed it miserably.
So you're like, okay, I have to see someone.
Yes. So I made the appointment, as I stated, and I went to the therapist, and I was diagnosed with body dysmorphic disorder.
What is body dysmorphic disorder? What is that?
Body dysmorphic disorder is where you fixate on a specific body part or body parts.
Okay.
And you're trying to, I over-exercise, I try to cover it up.
Right. You don't eat all your meals.
I don't eat all my food.
Right.
I look at my body in a distorted view. Like right now, somebody may think, oh, she looks like she probably wears a size 5.
Baby got back.
Stop.
Baby got back.
But for me, I see somebody who wears a size 18 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you look great.
So that's what it means. Body
There are people that are
dysmorphic.
having surgery to look like you. You look absolutely stunning.
Thank you very much.
Come on, not just because I'm your sister. I mean, it is what it is.
Stop it. So that's what it is, basically a distorted view of what I look like.
Okay.
An example, a good example of that would be like if you're eating a French fry and you have ketchup on it and it spills on your shirt.
Right.
And you just keep trying to rub the ketchup off your shirt, it's not going to come off. For me, I see even my compact. If you get it now, I'm serious, it's smudged.
Because you don't want to
I don't want to
clear.
see my clear picture.
Yeah.
I want to see a smogged view. I don't want to see the real me.
But the real you is beautiful.
It's going to take time.
What are you trying to cover up?
It's going to take time to see that. What happened, if I'll backtrack, at 13 years old, one of our parents' friends came to the house and made a derogatory remark. I say derogatory because at 13, to me, it was derogatory.
Correct.
But in his eyes, now that I'm an adult, I see he was being a pervert.
Oh, sure.
And he basically said, ooh, turn around. Somebody's getting fat.
Come on, that's crazy.
But I didn't realize when he said somebody's getting fat,
yes,
that messed me up.
Yeah.
At 13, it messed me up. So since that day, I basically starved myself, over-exercised, diet pills, water pills. I did everything to just be skinny. And I was so small.
And
I was
you
like
were skinny.
113, I think, pounds.
Tiny,
like that.
tiny. You get blown away by the wind.
Exactly. And so when I went to the therapist, the other diagnosis that I received was anorexia nervosa.
But anorexia, I thought that was for people that are thin, are real thin, and throw up their food. No?
There's no signs to anorexia. There is no body type.
Okay.
It's an emotional disorder. And basically, anorexia is the third after depression and substance abuse in mental health. Yes.
The third.
Yeah, the third. And it has the highest mortality rate. You can literally
Anorexia.
die. Yeah. And I was literally starving myself to death. Yeah, and still to this day, I can't eat right. I nitpick.
Right.
And then I throw it away. And
I will eat the whole plate, the whole thing, and I'm looking at you, and you're still picking at it. I'm like, girl, you better eat your food.
Yeah, I want to eat it, but then I start thinking of calories. I restrict my calories. I calorie count.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that.
Yes.
And the next diagnosis that I received was social anxiety disorder, which is an anxiety disorder.
Right.
And it's called SAD as well.
Okay.
And basically, any type of social situation
You still start
gives
to sweat.
me a panic attack, makes
Anxiety.
me sweaty. It makes me have a headache. It makes me feel like I have a
choking.
lump in my throat, like I'm choking. And I feel like I'm under the spotlight.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's looking at me, so it prevents me from doing so much.
Right.
Even doing the show, sometimes it's hard for me to do it,
Right.
even though it's just us.
Right. But you still push yourself.
But still, I
to do
just
it.
push myself.
Yeah.
I, just keep pushing. Even you could even testify to that.
When over the years, I always saw it as she's just shy. So I've always taken that lead. So you know what I'm saying? I just kept saying, you're shy, you're shy.
Yeah.
She's quiet. I'm more boisterous, and I'll just take the lead. That's okay.
Yeah.
And
you always did that,
yeah,
always.
I just
and
always
still to
take the
this
lead.
day, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and I don't mind, because now knowing that it is a disorder, it
Right.
is something is really wrong.
Yes, something
You
is
know, it's
really
not
wrong.
that you're just shy.
Yes.
Something is really, really wrong. Yeah.
And a few examples of that would be, you remember, I think it was January, February when Tyler Perry came, and we went to the show. While we were walking to the arena, everything was fine, but the minute I got in front of the large crowd,
you started
I
to
just
sweat.
was drenched in sweat,
Yes.
as if I was just running and running and running.
Right.
And I felt so stupid, because I felt everyone was looking at me like, what's
Right.
wrong with this girl that she's just sweating like
Yeah,
this?
exactly.
But I just was, it's too many people
That's
that was
just the
around.
feeling. That's the disorder.
Yeah, so that's
part of
that's
it.
the type of effects. And
Yeah.
even you, remember when we went to the wedding?
Yes.
And I said, Muriel, can you go and get my drink? Because I didn't want to get up
Right.
and walk in front of people.
Yeah, and I don't mind.
You
know,
told
but
me.
sometimes I push you, and I
Yeah.
say, no, you
Yep.
can do it.
And that's what you
Get
said
up,
that day.
Yep, get up and go. And it took you a little bit, but you
Yeah.
ended up going.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times I feel like I end up being your crutch.
All the time.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm protecting you. You're
Yeah.
my little sister. I'm always going to protect you no matter what.
Right.
Anyways, but through it all, even with me just thinking, oh, she's just shy.
Right.
I just always protected you along the way. So slowly, I'm having you go ahead and make those steps. Yeah, it's going to take time.
It's going to take
Yeah.
some time. And the final one was persistent depressive disorder, which is a depression that's basically persistent.
Yeah.
It comes
Ongoing.
and goes. It's ongoing. And this happened after Mom
Mom
passed
died.
away, and I just
Yeah.
was in a...
Because that's a blow. That was a big blow for
Yeah,
us.
it was
It's like, it's
total.
unfortunate that both of our parents just passed with, it was like really unexpected.
Unexpected,
We
sudden
didn't even have time.
shock.
Yeah, so we've just got that blow, and it's just, to this day, when I see someone being disrespectful to their parents,
Yes.
that is like the worst thing ever, because
is.
we don't have that.
No, I wish we did.
We're
but we don't.
basically considered orphans. We have both of our parents are deceased. They can't enjoy their grandchildren. The
Yeah.
grandkids can't, our children don't have that time with their grandparents. And it's just,
Yeah, it's
sometimes
just-
life is just not fair.
It's just not fair. It's like the good goes too fast. They go too fast.
Yes.
That's what it looks like to me.
Well, God
'Cause
needed
they
them.
were just a blessing.
God needed them more.
So,
But
yeah, for those that don't know, my mom lived with me for 17 years after my dad passed.
yes,
And she was paraplegic, and I had to do everything for her, doctor's appointments, cook, clean,
yes.
turn her over, etc.
Yep.
And so when she passed so suddenly, it was very shocking, to
Yeah.
say the least.
It was a blow. It's like
Yeah.
somebody just hit you, like you were knocked out.
Yeah.
That's the feeling.
So it just put me in a state of depression.
Right.
Like, why? Why would he do this? Why would God take her so fast without giving us heads
Any
up?
warning?
Yes.
We didn't have time.
Oh, my goodness. So
You know?
I just didn't know what to do. So I just stayed secluded for 2 years.
Yes.
Didn't see anybody, didn't talk to people, went to the business, home,
Yep.
grocery store, and that's it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so I just was in a real
Yeah.
funk. And
But
still
you-
today, it still comes
It's
and
still
goes.
hard, yeah.
It's hard. I watched the funeral DVD on a daily basis for 3
Yeah,
years
I
straight.
couldn't do it. I haven't seen
3
it.
years.
I haven't even watched the video. Ever since we left the cemetery, that was it. I went back for 1
time.
year, the 1 year anniversary, and I can't go back there.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I can't. I can't
It's
do it.
tough.
But it's just a healing. But it is a disorder.
Yeah.
You know? But the thing is, you just look so poised, and you're just so, you look like such a confident woman. What does mental health look like?
Mental health looks like me.
Man.
Mental health looks just like me, somebody who's poised, CEO of 4 businesses,
Isn't that something?
talk show host, I do everything.
Mother, wife, I mean,
everything. So I do everything, but I'm able to function because I have family support.
Right.
Thank God, and
Yes.
everybody understands
Right.
what it is. If I can't do something, they assist me with it. So I'm very thankful for family. But it really is a struggle on a daily basis for me. People really, truly don't understand.
People don't understand.
Everybody has a chapter
Yes.
that they never read out loud.
Right.
And that's me. I always wear a mask.
Yes.
So you can see me smiling, but my mind is going a mile
Right.
a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
People
And I
don't know
think-
your struggle.
Right. And I think that goes for a lot of people too, because they see a pretty face. And the first thing that is said is, man, she looks like she's got it going on. I want to be in her shoes. I wish I was living her life.
Right.
She's living her
They
best
just-
life.
They don't know.
But they
Walk in my
have no
shoes.
idea.
Yeah. I mean, I got a wonderful life. Don't get me
Yes,
wrong, but there's
still.
a lot of issues that come with it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. No situation is perfect.
No,
You know,
no.
thank God you look beautiful going through it,
Yes. Thank you.
right? Some people look rough.
Yeah.
You know, thank goodness you are put together and you make it look really good.
Thank
But of course, I see the struggle.
you.
You know, I see it.
From trauma. That's what I feel. Some of it comes from trauma, and I'm saying that only because of therapy. Because in therapy, you go all the way back
Right.
to when you were a young
They
child.
take you all the way back.
All the way back. And the things that I discovered from a young child, that's where it starts. That's exactly where it starts. We come from a Caribbean background, so everything was pretty strict, and so it formed anxiety.
Right.
It gave me, I think I honestly had, what is it called? Selective mutism,
And what is selective mutism?
where you just don't speak. Somebody's talking to you and you just don't speak.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I had that.
'Cause you were just
And
so-
I never spoke in kindergarten. Yeah, even when the teacher came to the house, you know, they did house calls.
Right.
I'm dating myself. They did house calls back then, and when they came to the house, they told Mom and Pop, they said, I speak to Ruby, but she doesn't speak back. She just looks at me in a blank stare. I'm wanting to make sure that nothing's wrong with her hearing and she understands what I'm saying. And my parents, they chuckled and they said,
No, she's
nothing's
fine.
wrong with her. She's fine. She's
Yeah.
just shy. She's just shy. Because that's what they thought that it was. But it was social anxiety disorder.
I wanted to ask you real quick about medication. I didn't ask you about that. How do you feel about medication? Because I know they wanted to give you some
wanted to give it-
medication. And
right. I declined medication because I don't feel that I need medication. I'm not pro-medicine. I feel society pumps too much medicine into people.
Right, to solve the problem.
Yes, you can do it holistically. You can do it naturally. And I personally, I don't want to take medicine, but some people really need medicine.
it works.
We have our own family members
Right.
who
Take
take
medication.
medicine, and it helps.
Right.
But for myself, I truly
You chose
don't need
not
it.
to.
Yes, I chose
Right.
not to.
well, we're getting ready to end the show. And I really don't want to end it because there's so many people that are getting some good information. You know, a lot of people never knew.
I know.
They never knew. And
Yes.
I'm so glad that you opened up to share your story.
Trying to remove the mask.
That's right. Is there anything that you feel that you want to say to the viewers or any last words that you would like to share?
I want to say that it's okay to put your mental health first. Mental health is definitely not a one-size-fits-all. 1 in 5 adults, they're going through this. They have mental illness. You're definitely not alone. And we're just conditioned to accept that as our upbringing, you know, not to show emotion. You know, 2 things to always remember in life: take care of your thoughts when you are alone, and take care of your words when you are with people. There's help out there. Please take time to talk to your family and friends, because they may be like me.
right.
And they might be wearing a mask. So please, if you see any of these signs in them being distant, distancing themselves and just being withdrawn, please reach out to them, because they may be suicidal and something may really be wrong with them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for removing the mask and sharing a little bit of your story. And I know it's going to help so many people.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
In the words of Michelle Obama, there is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. Remember that you can do anything you put your mind to. Continue to make history, not only in March, but all year long. Thank you to all the women who paved the way. We are real sisters sharing real stories within our community. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It, the Candid Conversation Show.
Go. Let's go.
Come on, let's have a candid conversation. Let's talk